One of the things that I love about living in my area is that I have a road that I can take to my place. It's kind of like a back road that is considered a historic ranching road, which I didn't even know those designations existed. But this road is absolutely spectacular. It starts out as a county road and then it turns into a Forest Service road. Now it is a little bumpy. Well, it's actually really bumpy, and so you need to make sure that you have the proper vehicle for it. And what I do is I air down my tires to like 10 psi. Now this is the same road that I take to access these areas where I'm finding all this incredible Native American ruins. And so I just love the fact that when I roll into town, if I want to take this way back, the scenery is just phenomenal. It's like these rolling hills, these green pastures, and it just rolls on for miles and miles and miles. This goes on for, I think it's a 70-mile road, which originally it was a game trail way back in the day. And then it became a footpath for the Native Americans that lived in the area. And then over time, once the settlers moved here, then it became a stagecoach run, and then now it's a full-on county road that turns into a Forest Service road. What I really love is the history of this area, because there are 3 massive historic ranches that are still operating to this day. This is one of them. It's 169,884 acres, and it's one of the largest working cattle ranches in Arizona. And it's sought after for its history, its consistent pasture throughout the year. Its carrying capacity is about 2,600 head of cattle for the entire year for adult cattle, and you can do thousands of seasonal feeder cattle as well. This ranch has been around since 1870, and it's just amazing. The terrain that they have in there, they've got a number of Native American ruins on their property and number of springs, and you name it. It's just like an oasis back there. So I just love this area where I live. I can't get enough of just cruising around and looking at every nook and cranny to see what I can find. I think it's time to plant our sweet potato slips because they're coming in really good. And the root structure on these, if we look, you can see like the different areas where they're sprouting out. So it looks like there's 3 on this side and that big one over here for a total of 4. So what you can do is you can literally go in here and break these off here. Let me pull this out real quick, I'll show you. I'll hold these up like that. All right, what you can do is you can come in and you see where it's attached here. You can literally just break this off and the root structure will come with it. And then you can take that and then just plant it directly into the soil. And then same with these over here. You know, they're all connected down in this section. So you just break that off from the main sweet potato and you're good to go. And you could probably even grow more if you wanted to. You could flip this upside down and have this in the water and grow more from the backside there. But I'm gonna put this back in for now. We need to get the soil amended. It's not the proper pH balance. It's actually kind of neutral. And at least the topsoil stuff is. And so I've got this here, and this is a test that we did yesterday. And this is what the soil that's directly under the big old growth junipers that are around my camper, that real dark soil. And so to me, this looks like a slight acid. It looks like between a slight acid and an acid as far as the color is concerned. So that's actually good for sweet potatoes. You want it about anywhere from 5.5 to 6.5, more on the 6.5 end as far as the pH balance. So I think we'll be okay if we use that soil. And what I want to do is clear out a section in one of the beds and then replace it with that soil. So we're going to do that right now. Okay, you see here I got some pretty good nutrient-rich soil. And this is actually from underneath the trees that the campers parked around. So let me grab some of this and I'll pull it up and show it to you. It's nice. Tons of good nutrients in it. It's got a pH balance of about 6.5, so it's going to be perfect for well, maybe about 6.3. It's in between the 6.5 and 6 point color range. But this has a pH balance of 7. And I've been getting this soil ready. If you see, it's got some moisture in it. It's actually kind of cool to the touch right now. And I've been watering this just to kind of get it prepped and ready to go, because I want to mix this in with it, and then I think we'll be good. This is down quite a bit. I built up the sweet potato, or the sweet red pepper plant over here. But also what I'm thinking about doing is once I get this set up in here, there'll be a gap over in this section, and then taking a piece of plywood and just putting it in between, so that way, you know, it doesn't go into each other's beds. So we're gonna do this right now, and this will be the area where we put in the sweet potato slips, and hopefully they'll take, and we'll have some good sweet potatoes soon, which will be real nice. All right, we got some monsoon showing up. Good deal. They said they'd be here around 2, and here it is 10:30, and they're already starting to form a little bit. Let's see how we're looking down to the south. Yeah, it's starting to stack up a little. All right, those clouds weren't here 20 minutes ago, so that's good. But I wanted to show you all real quick. I'm not going to plant the sweet potato slips until later in the morning. And I wanted to give you a tour of my camper here. Now, what we've got here is a 1971 Yellowstone camper. It's a 19-footer, 19 foot all the way to the tongue, so about 17 foot for the living space. And I really like it. This is nice. After I moved into this, and after being in my truck for like 7.5 years, it felt like Taj Mahal. I'm like, this thing's huge on the inside. So it's still got all the original windows and crank systems on and stuff. They kind of need to be worked on a little bit, but overall it still works well. Got a light out here. This is really nice at night. Turn that on, illuminates everything really well. The deep cycle batteries that I have up front here, I've only got one connected at the moment, but they're both in there. They're let's see, about almost a kilowatt of power each, almost 1,000 watts. It's like, I think it was like 670, so not quite 1,000. But they work great, and that basically is just to power the lights, and then also the fantastic fan that I have in there, and the light outside. So let's head on in. You can see I've kind of patched some stuff. I gotta redo this screen. Okay, so here's the interior of my camper, and it essentially was all gutted, and the only thing that was left was there was like a little closet here, and I ripped the closet out. You can see where the frame of it was. I went down there and it was like a storage closet. I thought, well, I don't need that. I can just store stuff in the back and underneath the bed. But the bed here is a full queen size bed. This is one of those mattresses, the RV mattress by Brooklyn Bedding that you see people on YouTube promoting. This is one of those beds, and they are super comfortable. So I really like this. It's got a cooling technology on the top, so it helps us stay cool in the summertime. And real nice and airy and breezy, and nice with the windows, you know, good light all around. If we go this way, let me do this, hang on a second here. All right, let's see. Better, kind of. So decent lighting all around. This is the kitchen area, and I have all of the dry goods and also like some other stuff stored up here. So if you look, going across, that's just kind of like the little pantry area. And then obviously the cooking area, you know, with the stove or the stovetop and the sink. I kind of like to have a smaller sink, and I don't really care for the way this is set up because I don't necessarily have a place to prepare things. I'm gonna probably cut a piece of wood out to put as an insert over the top here so I can have like a cutting board area. But it's a little too big for my liking, but you know, it works well and does the trick. For my water system, I just have a basic, for my gray water, just a tub that I take here, and I can take it outside and just have a hose running into it. It works fine. You just got to make sure you stay on top of it because this can kind of smell a little bit. The Dometic fridge that I use, the compressor is right here, and so the hot air gets kicked out over here. So if there's like, you know, water in here that has food matter in it, you just want to make sure you switch it out a bunch. So I clean that out probably at least twice a week, and it stays nice and fresh. And then Dometic fridge, this is a 65 size fridge. If you look, there's 2 different areas, dual zone, and then 65 liters. You can take both of them down to freezing if you want, down to -4, which is pretty nice. And they don't pull a whole lot of power. You want to make sure you run it on 12 volt, you know, the cigarette lighter, but it doesn't take much power at all. It's pretty quiet, so those are real nice. And then just my trash can right there. So that's the lay of the land of the kitchen area. For my air conditioner, I run this 100% off solar. And with the battery I'm using is the EcoFlow Delta Pro. This thing is incredible. It's 3.7 kilowatts of power, so that's, you know, 3,700 watts. And just performs awesome. I mean, it has no problem pushing everything else that I have here at the ranch all at the same time. and I'm just real pleased with that battery. It's got the best tech of any battery I've ever used. The battery maintenance system is insane, and everything about it is just rock solid. So that's a really good battery. I'm glad to have that here. I do have a few other additional batteries that I'll use to top this battery off if I don't get enough solar in it throughout the day. So I've got like the Bluetti, I've got the Champion, and then the Zendur battery. Those are all pretty good. So typically if I'm chilling in here editing videos, I'm editing them right here, and Sierra will just chill like right here and just kind of hang out. And so I'll hang here like this, sit here, work on the computer, chill with Sierra, and she's good to go. Oh, in the back here, just real quick before we wrap up, I've got my remote control truck. That's a TRX4. I've done so many upgrades to that thing. I've spent about $1,000 on that thing. It's so much fun. It's got front and rear lockers that work real well. Let's make sure. Cool. Yeah, okay, cool. Front and rear lockers, and then I've switched out a bunch of the hardware on here, and it makes it to where I've like switched out the axles, switched out all these different things here, and made it to where it performs extremely well. So this is a lot of fun to take out on the rocks on my property. And then I've got a little portable printer here that is battery powered, so I use that for any like contracts I have to do with like sponsors or anything like that. Then I got a little bit of books and my fly fishing gear. I cannot wait to get going this year. We're gonna start fly fishing this fall. That's why I picked up that tent right there, so that Sierra and I can still go out and do outdoor adventures and she don't have to worry about jumping in and out of the truck. And so that way everything can be ground level for her and she's good to go. And then my backpacking gear. So that's pretty much the lay of the land here. Oh, and the last thing is I just installed a new Dometic fan. It's got 3 different settings with the speed. It's got the temperature control thing too, to where it'll turn on and off, and I'm not really sure how that works. I haven't really messed around with that much. Forward and backward as far as like either sucking the air out and pushing it down, and then open and close right there. So, and I love this roof in here. Like the people that had this before, I bought this in Eagle, Colorado from a couple who was planning on restoring it and then making an Airbnb at their place, and then decided to sell their place. So they were just getting rid of it. And so I picked this up for $6,500, and I think it's a really good buy. It's just a perfect home on wheels. There's no mold in it at all. I thought there was a little bit right over here where I pulled back this siding stuff or pulled back the little stuff, but there's not. There was no mold or anything. So we're good to go with this. It's really tight. I have had no problems with animals getting in here, which is really good because I'll leave for months at a time, and there's no animal problems at all. One of the things that I do want to add before I do my fly fishing adventures before me and Sierra head out this fall is I want to add a shipping container here, because then I'll be able to lock everything up and put it all in there, like like the e-bike and like the batteries and the four-wheelers and all that stuff. Take them and put them all, all of my gear and the generator, all of it into the Connex, and then that way we're able to take off and not worry about people stealing things while we're here. Lastly, I did put on the braces there on the sides, so I'm going to do more. I'm going to do them on all 4 or all 6 of them, and have one here and then one on the sides, or I guess one on the side going that way. And so that's good. So it's a little bit extra support. But that's all for today, folks. Thanks for tuning in. I think tomorrow what we'll probably do is a live stream, because we're supposed to have storms all day. So I want to test this out. We still haven't had rain on it yet, really. We've had a little bit of rain, but nothing really of substance. So I want to see how these storms stack up today, and hopefully we'll get some good rain coming and hitting this, and we'll see if it's waterproof or not. All right, everybody, have a good day. Thanks for tuning in. All right, folks, that's it for today. I've already got some rain hitting the roof. I can hear it out there, so hopefully it's going to start coming down here soon, and I can get some footage to see if the roof is watertight. So we'll have that in the next video. In the meantime, y'all have a great afternoon. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot.